Hey guys, this is Taylor, and I am this week's presenter. And this week I will be going over Chapter 10, which is Organizational Alignment Managing the Total Enterprise. So I'll just be going over a few key concepts that I found to be pretty interesting or kind of important for this chapter. So we will be going over the importance of strategy in business, types of business strategies, and what I think was really interesting was the business life cycle. As I've mentioned quite a few times throughout this summer session and in our discussions, I work for Zappos. I absolutely love my job, and so I will be using Zappos throughout this presentation to use some examples for kind of how we run and how it applies to some of the things in this presentation. So we're going to start with kind of the basis of strategy, and first that's competitive strategy. So competitive strategy is a clear statement of why customers should choose products or services over those of competing companies. Now, this is a big deal. We see it everywhere. Whether we think about it or not, we see it everywhere. I mean, think about Target people versus Walmart people. Personally, I love going to Walmart. I don't step into Target very often, but my mom loves Target for her own reasons. I love Walmart for my own reasons. And what makes a competitive strategy is some of the selling points will include cheapest, friendliest, best quality. For instance, my mom loves Target because she thinks that the quality is better. She thinks the atmosphere is better. She likes how it's a little bit more, I don't know, has like a more of an upscale vibe, more designer. A lot of people make the joke of calling it Target. And then I love Walmart because I find great stuff at Walmart. But if you've ever seen the People of Walmart website, then Walmart has a different reputation. It's called Wally World. So everyone has different tastes. As I said, with my job at Zappos, there are multiple other online retailers that people could shop from, but they choose us because we are really friendly. We are known for our customer service, and that's what keeps our customers coming back. They tell me all the time, like, oh, I could have bought this right off of Nike's website directly, but I love you guys for the customer service that I always get from you guys, and that is why I choose Zappos. So that's what makes a competitive strategy, having something that other companies just like don't, that make customers want to keep coming back to you. So some business strategies now we're going to discuss are lowest cost strategy and differentiation. So lowest cost strategy. This is the one that slaps us in the face all the time. Can't miss it. You can see my examples here on the side. So lowest cost strategy is providing services or products at the lowest possible price. Again, comparing Target and Walmart. Target, I think their prices are a little higher than Walmart, which is why I don't go there. To me, Walmart, I mean, their slogan is literally lowest prices every day or something like that. I love to eat, and being a student, we tend to be a lot cheaper and a lot more frugal with our money. And so think about all these fast food restaurants and think about all these commercials that you see. I decided to use the example of meal deals. Everyone has a meal deal, and everyone is trying to say, oh, you get more quality food for your buck, or different things like that. Everyone has a 4 for $4, or I 2 for $5, different things like that. And so you go around thinking like, oh, who am I going to get more food with for less money? And I feel like that's a great strategy, especially when it comes to food. As families are growing and as our daily lives are getting busier, we tend to eat out probably a little bit more. And if you have a bigger family but you want to eat quick and cheap, these restaurants, they are selling it. McDonald's got rid of their dollar menu. So other places, I think Burger King came up with their own type of menu to compete and to say, we have the lowest cost, but you'll still get more food for your dollar. Differentiation is highlighting of what makes a product or service unique. So again, kind of back what I was saying about Zappos, our customer service and our core values and our culture is what makes us unique. And on every phone call, you will feel that, and that's just not even comparing us to other shoe retailers and clothing retailers. That I compare us to just about any other call center you'll ever call. Whether you're just simply calling the DMV or your cell phone company, you will not get the level of friendliness and service that we do, that we give you. And we want to make your call as enjoyable as possible, and that is what makes us unique. I have cried on the phone with customers. I've had laughs with customers. I have had customers want to exchange Facebooks and Instagrams with me, and that's what makes us unique. Because you could call your cell phone company or you could call the DMV, and I can guarantee you, chances are, you are not going to make a best friend by the end of the call. And so that's our business strategy, and that's what keeps people, flocking to us and coming to us. So next, there are the different types of companies that were discussed in the chapter. So that includes product or service driven, market driven, production driven, technology driven, sales and marketing driven, and distribution driven. So I'm just going to kind of go over each one of these. I put little examples next to them. So product or service driven, pretty typical. When I thought of this one, I thought of these luxury brands. So for instance, right now, Tesla cars is a big one. Everyone wants a Tesla. Their slogan is the car of the future. So Tesla is really pushing themselves as like, we are the top quality, like high quality car of right now. Like you want us, we have all the features you need. I mean, my job has it, and I was just recently in California and I saw them. It seems like all these places are starting to put the little Tesla electric car plugins now. I mean, at my job, we took away 12 regular parking spots to add in those little plugins for electric cars and things like that. It is taking over. Marriott is a high quality luxury hotel that is known for their service and what they provide you. So that is a product or service driven company. Market driven, I got this one directly from the chapter, Johnson & Johnson, where they provide their product and services to, such doctors, hospitals, things like that. When you go to the doctor or whatnot, you will see Johnson & Johnson products. So that's market driven. They have a particular market that they are pushing for and that they reach out to and branch out to. Production driven. So I got this one from the chapter as well. So production driven is airlines. So with airlines, so what production driven means is that these places are always going. Airports rarely close down. McCarran is always around. Big international airports, they are always going. They are production driven. They have to keep going. Also, what the chapter mentions is that with production driven, there are usually, some sort of bonuses or different incentives for, if you fly with this airline, we'll give you this, because they constantly need to keep that momentum and keep that customer focus. They will offer vacation packages. You can get these credit cards that have flight points where you just turn in your points for flights, and so that's how they constantly keep their sales up and keep their customer focus. Technology driven. So technology driven, I put the basics down. Apple was in the chapter. I also added Samsung and Google. So these are constantly competing. There's the Apple side and then there's the Samsung side. I personally am a Samsung person, always have been. I can't get into Apple. But again, it's like who's hot, who's up and coming, who can provide you with better service faster, who has what you need now. And I feel like Apple and Samsung just keep going back and forth where it's like, okay, if Apple releases something, then Samsung feels like it's their job to, on their next release, go bigger, go better. And then it's just this constant back and forth, which kind of creates the separation, as I mentioned, of you have your Apple people and you have your Samsung people. And it's very hard for Apple people to get a Samsung and vice versa because the technology is just, I think in our heads it's so different when really it is the same, but that's technology driven. It's, you know, who has it right now, right then and there. Sales and marketing driven. So this is your Mary Kay's. I did It Works. There's Lip Sense, LuLaRoe, Herbalife. So these are those. It's sales driven. It's marketing driven. Avon. You're going door to door. You're selling your product, and your goal is to sell your product and get higher up in the company, get higher up in the line of distribution. There's always incentives, and so it's all about, I won't say competition with one another because you know you're on your different teams. I did It Works. I didn't do very good at it because just it was a little too pushy for me, and I'm just not into sales like that. It's either you like it or you don't. But that is, you know, especially with this social media day and age, sales driven is very like pushing sales. We're pushing our marketing. You know, they're constantly posting on their social media. They're constantly, you know, messaging and getting their product out there. And then lastly, we have distribution driven. So this is Walmart, UPS, Zappos, Amazon, where it's just high qualities or high quantities of distribution. And it's just about finding new ways and effective ways to get your customer their products. So Walmart is now trying to compete with Amazon and having free 2-day shipping directly to your house or to your store. You know, there's Amazon Prime. With Zappos, we offer free return shipping, returns up to a year. Every time you physically call us, we always upgrade your shipping to next day business delivery. UPS with the holidays, just trying to get out faster. So distribution is just, you know, reaching your customer at new levels and in new ways. So that is your different types of companies. So next is the business life cycle. I really was drawn to this because I actually took a course at work that talked about Zappos business life cycle and our customer life cycle and how we keep customers coming in and kind of the life cycle of a customer, things of that sort. So it is just like the human life cycle. It starts with birth, which is the creation of a new company and its strategies. You got to start from somewhere. So it's a little seed that goes in the ground and then it kind of sprouts. So that is the birth. It's what is this company? What are our strategies? What are we going to sell? How are we going to do it? Next is childhood. So figuring out development and plan for growth. How are we going to bring in customers? You know, how are we going to get our product out there? How are we going to get our services out there? The plan of action. Next is adolescence, which is the changing of strategy to keep up with competitors. For instance, in my cultural comparison project, we did KFC versus Popeyes. In 2008, Popeyes did a complete revamp of their whole business strategy. They remodeled all the stores, they brought out new deals, didn't change up their recipe or anything like that. Like the quality of the food stayed the same, but they knew they had to do something else to keep up with KFC and Church's. And so they revamped everything. And that was their adolescent stage, which then goes into maturity. So the renewal or changing of a business plan. So that is just, again, kind of with Popeyes, you know, either finding out if this worked for you and keeping it going or completely changing it and without losing all your values, but still kind of like an upgrade, a facelift. And unfortunately, if these things don't work out, it leads to failure or death. And a large majority of the book, the chapter mentions startup companies will end in failure or death, which is the end of a company or being bought out by another company to sustain and survive. So that is the business life cycle. So our discussion questions that I chose for this week: what is your favorite product or company, and what about them do you like? Think about Target versus Walmart, Samsung versus Apple. What's your favorite company or product and why? What do they do that makes you like them so much? And also think about your current or past place of employment and describe what business or company type it fell into. So the product service driven, the distribution driven, sales and marketing driven. What business strategy type did your place of employment or past place of employment fall into? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the discussion board. So have a good rest of your week. Bye.